Hello Designer users, this is just a quick video to show you one of the cool new features that we have in Designer 6.2. That feature is the ability to send Storyboard I/O events over TCP IP. Where this is nice is that you can simulate actions on your development hardware without having to actually be SSH'd into the development hardware and issuing commands from the command line. You can do all of this right from Storyboard Designer, and that will make it simpler for you to test out the events that you have inside your application and make sure that your app and your UI are responding the way that they should respond when they receive these events. I have a demonstration application here, and one of the first things I'm going to show is deploying it to the target hardware. This feature has been around for a while. We have the ability to transfer the storyboard application to the hardware through an Scp transfer. So I have a target hardware, which I'll flip to in a minute through my webcam and show you there. But I'm going to deploy it. First, I'll show the webcam right now, and you'll see that there's nothing running on the hardware. And now I'll come back and I'll deploy it. So I'm going to run it, and it's going to deploy. And once it's done deploying, it'll tell me that it was done deploying. And then when I go back, you can see that my app is now running on my hardware, and I can play around with it and actually try and use it. I didn't remember the correct sequence there, so I did not get a match, but that's not a problem. Now you'll notice that the cards are blue. Now let's say that one of the features in your project was, let's say this app was going on a thermostat. And one of the things that they were worried about is that there's a lot of blue in this app. And let's say you were setting your temperature on your thermostat before you were going to bed, and there's way too much blue light. So we have to have a way of switching it to something that's a little more orange. Now there's going to be a back-end event that comes through at a specific time at night, and that's what's going to tell you how to switch to when to switch to the orange color. Now the problem is that your back-end development team, they're more concerned about how hot you can actually make your furnace. So they're not really worried about sending the time event to you just yet. So you're going to have to wait for your back-end development team to actually have the back-end written to the point where they can send this event. But you still want to test that you've implemented the event correctly. So what we can do is we can send the event through Storyboard I/O, through the I/O connector, over TCP IP, and you can test it and see what it looks like on your hardware. So you can test and validate that your UI is actually going to respond the way it's supposed to when it receives that event, and you don't need to wait for the back-end development team. This decouples you from your back-end development team, and you can make sure that your UI is going to perform the way you want it to. So I'm just going to show this. So again, we'll flip to the app running on the board, and we can see that the cards are blue. And now what I'm going to do is I have this switch card theme event, and when the switch card theme event occurs, it's going to basically tell the application that it needs to switch the card theme to something that's a little bit lighter. And in this case, it's an orange card background. This orange card back to image. So I'm going to send the event through Storyboard I/O. So I've sent the event, and if we switch back to the hardware and we take a look, voila, our cards are orange, and now you won't have to stay up all night because you've absorbed too much blue light before going to bed. This is just one of the new features that we have in Designer 6.2. Check out our other videos for the other features.